Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
At a 50-minute alert on the New Zealand yen. We'll take a look and see. I have a feeling I looked at this one before and I didn't see anything. New Zealand yen, here we go. We are in we had the up arrow right in the middle of a red zone. Let's see what kind of, we're going to zoom out, see what kind of a trend we have, where the trend is. Right now we have mostly green bars on the bottom. We have 2 bars on the top. So therefore it looks like if it can break through this red zone, we have a possibility of having a trade going up to the upside here. So we'll want to keep an eye on this one. We'll put our arrows in, show our direction. It's just a technique that I do just so I can see where the direction is real quick. And that way, if this up arrow, if this zone goes away, I'll know that the trend may be changing. It's actually taken out some of these newer buy areas. And we're going to zoom out a little bit and take a look and see if this thing can break through this zone. The next target is going to be up here, and that would be a pretty nice little trade. I may run into a few little bit of speed bumps along the way, but right, this would be the target that I would be looking at initially, right where this peak was. And from that, you probably would have 20 pips. And we're looking for a 20 pip, at least a 20 pip move to be able to take a target, take a trade. And that would give us we'd be right at 20 pips. If it can break this zone, then we would be looking at a target over here. That would be a reasonable 20 pip target. But we have to get through this zone first. Because right now that it came up, this zone has been tested several times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is the 6th time.
There.
Yeah, this is all the way back, and so this is where the price. If you can see where the price comes down, comes into this area, tests it, comes back down, tests it, goes back down, tests it again. So this is about the 5th major time that this zone has been tested since it was developed somewhere way over in here. So we're just going to have to see if it can break through that. If it does, then we have a pretty good little chance to get in the upside. Yeah. New Zealand yen. Let's see what the our heat map looks good like. Though, Al. New Zealand, and yeah, New Zealand is strong today. Yeah, I would say it looks pretty good. The New Zealand looks pretty strong today across the board and the yen is the weakest. So I think there's a good chance this zone's not going to hold this time. But we have to kind of play by the rules here. So let's say US Tech. This is the NASDAQ. This is not one of my favorite pairs right now, but we'll take a look at it. We do that on a 5-minute chart. Ooh, that's Okay, so we're looking for a $5 move on this. We know it's in an uptrend. Here's an arrow. There's no bounce. All we have is we had the bounce off of here, and this is the 3rd up arrow, but we don't have a bounce. So this is not a bag entry, but we would have an arrow which we would have enough room for from 13,713 to 13,761. That's a pretty significant move to the upside. We're only looking for 5 pips. There's enough room. There's an arrow. That'd be the 2nd arrow. And we're already on a 5-minute chart for a lower time frame. Let's take a look at even a 1-minute chart. See what that looks like. We do have a little bit of resistance right here, right in front of it. So you'd want to be careful about taking this one because these are the zones that won't show up unless you get on a really small time frame. And there you're looking at 13 to, well, it's about $7 move to the top of that first red zone. You have $5 just to the bottom of the red zone. So that would be a trade that if you're of the appetite to take it, you could do that. But I'm not taking it. I'm just staying away from these indexes right now. And that's all I have to say about that one. Any questions so far from our attendees? If you have any questions, please put them in the question answer box. We'll be more apt to see them and be able to answer them. We'll do the best we can and get everybody's questions answered. Try and keep the questions such that if you have a pair you want to look at, tell us the time frame that you want us to look at it. Primarily, we're looking at 15-minute time frames off the Forex pairs, and the indexes and gold we'll be looking at primarily. Our focus chart is a 5-minute chart. You see where this one's starting to kind of pull back already a little bit. We had the arrow. Here's where the arrow was right here. The entry would have been right about there. I see you do have room to the upside, but you can see where it's starting to pull back and retesting the bottom here. So it's still kind of range bound. It's been pretty much range bound for all day yesterday. It was really range bound. At least the S&P was. And as far as take a look at our Forex Factory, our news for the day, and we don't have any red folder events this morning, so that's all real good. So we don't have to be worried about getting whipsawed by some blindsided of some news event that's happening. That happened yesterday with something that we had. There was an 8:30 news announcement.
Was it pound or something?
I think it was I think it was the pound. It was the pound pairs, and right around 8:30, between 8:25 and 8:35, we had a really strong move that probably stopped a lot of people out and made everybody unhappy. And it all was because there was a news announcement that was being played. And it's hard to, unless you have like a buy stop or a sell stop to get into the position, and in anticipation, it's hard to gauge which way to go on those. So I just stay away from them. And once the news comes out, then you pretty much need to give it some time to reset itself. And let's see.
We got a great question here, Al, about when we get equal zones. I was talking to Nate yesterday, and he's saying it's obviously going to be a lower probability trade and that you need a minimum of 50 pip range between the zone to the zone. So it's not a great high probability trade to take.
Okay. We see a question about 50-minute S&P. I don't even have the chart on this one, I don't think. Why did I not have the chart on the S&P? Well, let's see if I can put it on real quick. Templates.
Yeah, let's see. Hey, everything seems to be working a lot better now.
Yeah,
I haven't had...
let's see, arrow. Here we go. Here's my arrow template. Load this thing up real quick. There it goes. Here's 15-minute. We are on a 15-minute S&P. We had the bounce arrow go. This is the second arrow. We're in the money zone. Let's see. We have, this is an area over here. Okay, here's what I'm looking at with this one. Object list. Let me get my lines up here. Let's put it on at, say, 39.20. And I'll go with the target of 39.25. 39.25. And stop is 10 pips. Or $10, I guess you could say. So that'd be 39.10. So that's basically the range we're looking at. There is room to the upside from where we are right now. Plenty of room up here. I don't, right now, this is the area that was tested. We did get a little bit of a close above that. Once it clears this, I'm looking at this to be the body of this candle over here. I'd be looking at as the target area. We are in an uptrend, I'm pretty sure still. I'd be surprised if we weren't. Yep, lots of green down below. And let's go back to, and we'll scale in.
So that you see that big move down, Al, from the origination,
this one right here,
all the way down there. Yeah. So that right now where price is, it's actually a 76.4 retracement of that entire move. So it didn't make it all the way up yet.
Right. When you get with these Fibonacci retracements, when you get up to the 76 retracement area, you're starting to get into the area where you may be looking at a reversal or a breakout of the upside. I'm a little careful with that. Oftentimes you'll get a strong move down. Here's the pullback. If you did a retracement off of this move, from this down move to back here, this would be sort of like your Fibonacci retracement, where you come up here with your high, comes down to the low, and then you can see that it retraced back above the blue line back into this is a 79% retracement off of this. It came into the 62, between 62 and 79, came back down. The first target would have been pretty much your zero line, but you see that it didn't make it all the way down. It only retraced. So basically right now, this was the zone between this blue line and we're going to call, and this, let's say between, this is our new zone that we're playing. So, and right up in here, this is where the price was rejected the last time it came up. And you just see, all you see are just these wicks right now. So I would not want to take it long, because all it is coming into this point up a little bit higher to the 79% of this big down move, which is what Matt was just pointing out. And now it's basing right in here. So right in between the 79 and the 62 is really where the price is hanging out right now. Right between our, I'll put it right between our green line and our, so this is the overnight. This is where London brought it, well, this was the overnight low. It's trending up, but it's going flatline right here. So this could be where it could break to the top and come back down, or it could, we don't know which way it's going to go. We're kind of in the middle of no man's land right now. There's no real clear direction. So if there's no clear direction of which way to go, because you're kind of in the middle of the big zone, just stay away from it until it gets either up here and then make a decision, or gets down here and make a decision. But right now, it's just too iffy which way it's going to go. This one was rejected. This one, it broke this top, but that's not to say it's not going to get rejected again. So that would be a pretty, I would say that's a 50-50 move to take it to the upside or to the downside. So I just stay away from that one as well.
Yeah. Someone mentioned in the chat that there's a couple of U.S. news red folders coming out. So I checked out our good friends at MyFX Book, and in 45 minutes, they got initial jobless claims. And that will be a mover.
I may have to start looking for a little different news source, because I'm not seeing some of these red folders that MyFX Book is having. So
yeah, so there's a lot of jobless reports are coming out.
May have to start checking that out. Again, while we're waiting, we can take a look at our heat map that we have. For lack of a better term, what to call it, I'm not sure what to call it, but it's my strength map is what I call it, because it's the relative currency strength. On the 1 hour chart, right now the Aussie and the New Zealand are leading the pack as far as strength goes. So if we get an alert, we want to be trading. If we get an Aussie or New Zealand pair alert, we want to be trading to the strength of the Aussie and New Zealand, and we want to trade to the weakness of the yen. So that's where that New Zealand, in fact, let's take a look at that New Zealand yen trade, see if it broke through that zone. New Zealand yen. It still hasn't really done anything. It's still sitting there. Let's go to a 5-minute chart and see what we have. Still showing strength. And if it can break through that area, New Zealand yen, let me see if I have that over here. We can take a little closer look at it. This is where I go to my trading view charts. And I'm looking to see where yesterday's price action was. And this is all the price action from yesterday. So I'm going to put a box around that. And you can see the overnight, it just barely wicked down through the low of yesterday. Let's see, where's my, there. So this was a range from yesterday all the way to over here. You see that London opened up, drove it down just to the bottom here, and it's taken up. So right now it's retesting yesterday's high. If it can break out yesterday's high, then we're going to come over and we're going to be looking at and we're looking to see where we run into the next wicks and bodies. So I say this is going to be a point right here. It's going to have to get through this little. Here's a little drop. There's a little. You can see there's a red candle and a blue candle, and then another drop, and it came back and retested right where this red and blue candle are. That's the price where we are sitting right now, pretty much, only within a few pips of it. If it can break through that, still has to get through this little drop here, but I would say this would be the next target zone where we had the strong move down, strong move up. This is actually the area where this was an area where the buyers came in, the sellers took over. The sellers won this battle, but right here at the bottom where the sellers won would be where this would be the next zone that I'd be looking at to come up into. And if you measure from the current price to this zone up here, you'd have, that looks like New Zealand yen, that looks like that would be about 82 pips, looks like. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that, Al.
Yeah, that one's not too bad, and it does. And I mean, and thing is, we are looking at the strength of the New Zealand dollar, but also remember that the strength was developed from this big move here. So as it gets up near the top and starts losing strength, you'll be looking for that to start switching over, and that would be your reversal point. If I let's see. And I do like this little area right here where this came up, based, had a little pause right in this area. That'd be another.
We're gonna break that top, Al.
Yeah, I think we will too. It's
if you check your other trading view charts.
There we go, and that's looks like it's up there. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I get that, and look at this one. We can maybe draw a wedge. I don't know if we can draw a wedge on this one or not here, Matt. What do you think?
There was a wedge before that big move up.
But it is starting to break out of the top.
But that's the breakout of the wedge.
Yeah, I think it's starting to break out. I would say this is a go. What do you think?
I'd be satisfied. I'm taking that one.
Yeah, I think we're going to take this one.
And the reason we're getting in this, guys, even if it was so far after the alert, it's just we're breaking out of the wedge formation, and so it could be a potential trade setup there. And then you're breaking out of the money zone too.
Yeah, I mean, we're on a 15-minute chart. We're showing a lot of strength. We're getting some closes above these little wicks over here. Still have a lot of strength. And I saw our target we're looking at being somewhere around the, what did we say? It was around the 75, about 75.84 would be a good target.
Yeah. And what do you think we would sit down on for a stop on this one, my friend?
I would keep it well below
40, right?
I keep it well. Yeah, I'd use 40 to start with, and probably just keep it below the low. What a lot of times what I'll do is let me get this thing in here first. I'm gonna do a buy on this.
Yeah, let's enter this sucker, and then we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about the stops. Let's see. We're gonna go with.
Well, maybe to help you on those two people I'd mentioned on the 1 hour, there's a bag entry on this pair. So I don't know if that will help.
Okay.
Yes, on the 1 hour.
Okay.
I didn't see that.
Now we can take a look at that. Let's see. We're going to open that trade there. Target. I'm going to go with the basically 20 pips from where we got in.
Well, because 70. It's a 1 hour out, we can actually extend that a little bit, can't we?
Well, actually, with I'm just trying to get it.
With a 1 hour bag.
Let's go 75.80. See, 75 point. Let's go 85 here just to get it on the chart, and then they stop. I'll go use a 70. Let's just say 75.25 for starts. That'll give me some range to work with here. With a 1 hour bag entry, let's go to 1 hour chart. And
1 hour bag entry would be a 50 pip stop loss, right?
Well, 50 pip target, but you could use this. You could use this for
target.
A target.
100 pip.
And so that would be from where we got in on this. Now we got in a little bit late from the actual bag entry on this, but we still have lots of room to the upside. Now you may want to remember the normal parameters for a bag entry on a 1 hour chart is 50 pip target, 100 pip stop. So if the ideal target range would have been right here, would have been right at this point right now. You're already 61, you're already 10 pips away from where the entry was. So keep that in mind. So you may want to decrease your expectations. Let's see, that would be, I think to use this as a zone is a valid area to take for a target. 75.62. Object open trade 75.62. We're gonna call it. Where we entered. 75.62 was the entry for this for the 1 hour bag right there. And so 62 and then 50 would be 76.12. 76.12. I still like just using this one right there for the, but we'll put it up here. And then I would like to keep the stop somewhere. I like to keep the stop below this zone, at least below the first zone. You can keep it below, I think if you use like yesterday's money zone, which is a shaded area right here, if this does play out to the upside, it should at least come up. It shouldn't be coming back to retest at least until you get maybe up into this area. Now this is the top of yesterday's money zone, or this is right here's the top of. See, yesterday was today's Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. This is the top of Tuesday's money zone. We're getting in right near this is really nice little reversal right here. So I'm okay with this trade. Here's my New Zealand US from yesterday. Take a look at that and see how that's doing if we want to pull that one off. Right now, I'm okay with this trade. I like having that from 75.62 to 74.62 is actually really where your stop would be. 74, be all the way down. I don't think you need quite that much stop. If this thing doesn't, I would say this: if this thing doesn't start getting at least a couple 20 pips or so, then something's wrong. Then it's going to come back and retest this area. And I'll probably want to be out of this trade by then.
Yeah, the bottom of that green zone is actually a pretty good stop, from the whole price action perspective.
always like keeping a couple of things in front of me. One, I like this moving average is starting to curl and point up. That's the first barrier. So you have that pressure to keeping it up. And you also have another zone. You have the money zone from yesterday's money zone as a barrier. So you have a couple different, it's got to get through a couple different layers before it's going to get to your stop. By the time it gets through those layers, I'll probably be looking at getting out of the trade because things aren't working out the way I want to. But right now, don't expect this thing to be done by today. I mean, it may pop up there today, but you may want to expect it to just, take some time getting up here before to your target. But right now, it looks like a good trade. You should be able to get a few pips out of it, if nothing else.
Yeah, that could be a sit on your hands and wait kind of play for this one.
Yeah. Aussie CAD. Looks like we have an Aussie CAD trade out here. Let's take a look at that one. Aussie CAD, and that was a Aussie CAD buy. We're up right up into the zones. Scale out. We're in an uptrend. Do one more hit here to make sure. Lots of green. No, only 3 zones in the red. We're good there. So we are in an uptrend. I put my arrows in. That's our direction. Here's the top of our last trend box. But you can see right now you're coming right up into red zone. You don't have anywhere near 20 pips into that. So that's a no trade. It's only like 3 pips before it's just coming right up into that area. And let's see, what else do we have? I think that's about it for that right now.
Hey, Al,
Yes.
while we're waiting for a new alert, Garvin had asked about the S&P 500 on the 1 hour.
Okay, let's go back to the S&P 500 again.
Thank you. As he was saying about using the fibs to give you a take profit potential, which you started on the lower
this
time frame.
This is on the 1 hour. We're looking at
Yes.
here. He's looking at a 1 hour.
Thank you.
Well, this would be the fib that you'd be looking at drawing on this one. Let me get this. No, let me just get this one off.
It's going to be easier on TradingView, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be. Let me do that. I think that'd be a better way to go.
Because you're trying to do your extension. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I prefer to do my extensions. Yeah, let me get this one on TradingView, S&P 500. Let me find it here.
We'll get Coach Mo's opinion on it too later, because this is what she does all the time, is indices on the swing. So
okay, so there's the S&P 500. We're going to do this on TradingView. Here's the S&P 500. We're going to put it on a 1 hour chart, I guess. And we're going to scrunch it down, and we're going to take that off. We're going to take all this other stuff off for right now. Just take a look, strictly price action here.
Look at that wedge, man.
Here's yesterday's high. Here's yesterday's low. I usually like to start with the box off of that. So that's the range that it's been in. The day before, it was in a range. You can see where it's just been for the last couple of days. It really hasn't changed much in the last couple of days from this is really the range that it's been in, and we're in the upper part of this pretty much the whole week here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There's Thursday. So from last Friday, this is basically our weekly range. This goes back on the 4th, which was Friday, I believe. My memory serves me correctly. Get my calendar out here. Friday was the 5th, so it was that's January, February. Yeah, last Thursday. was the 4th. There's the 5th. So here's Friday. Yeah, this is basically Friday's price action. So from Friday, so this is basically, this was the low for the week, really, right here. So this is the range. And so we want to be actually trying to catch the upper 25% and the lower 25%. As long as it stays in this range, if you want to be playing this from, it's actually going sideways. It's not really trending particularly. Very gradual trending throughout the week, drops down, comes back up, retesting it. So this is really the area that we're really looking at. And as Matt pointed out, there's a nice little wedge there. And so here's a high.
I'm going to go take a look at US Swiss. We just got an alert for that one.
You just got an alert? Okay, yeah, thank you. And here's a lower high. Here's a higher low. Breaking out the, actually, take this, move this over here a little bit. I kind of like to flat top this on the top.
So Al, we've got we got a really strong downtrend with about 7-8 red zones, and then we got 2 green zones under where price is. So before I would take this trade, it would have to break through at least those 2 zones.
Okay. So no trade on that one. Let's take a look at it. We need to make sure we stay focused on when these alerts come through to make sure everybody gets and we'll come back to that British US.
Yeah. So I'll just get your opinion on it, Al. I think
US
Swiss.
Where's my US Swiss? Yeah, I gotta get these organized again. Different place. Ooh. See, and that was on a 15-minute.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So we're going to go with the.
Getting a big rejection right there.
Yeah.
Right off that green zone.
Let's zoom out. Lots of. Oh boy, look at all that red there. Lots of red. Okay, so we want to be looking at a downtrend, and seeing. And actually, it looks like it may have made it some new. Well, it's definitely in a strong downtrend with lots of green right there below. So we're again, you can see, if you look and see this thing's just going sideways all night long. It's just been, and it's been ranging in a relatively. Let's see what the range on this thing is from the high here to the low. You're looking at basically 12 pips, a 12 pip range on this for all night long. That's like nothing that you don't want to take it. You want to stay out of that. All it'll do is it'll spend a lot of time wondering which way it's going to break. And it'll go up and it'll make it think it's going to break to the upside and comes back down to think it's going to the downside. It doesn't. And you're just going to be sitting there getting whipsawed around. So, yeah, we don't want that one.
No, there's a big red flag on that one for sure.
Yeah.
Because if you're using a 40 pip stop loss, it could easily tag that stop loss and then continue going down. There's too much stuff going on here.
So let's go back and see where these. I'm going to see where this zone is right here on this S&P. Looks like a 39.30 to. I'm just going to mark that red zone. 39.30 to 39.36. Bring this back over.
Yeah, let's not forget about the news. We got news coming in the next little bit.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
39.30, 39.36, which is right about where we are right now. And 30, right about in here. So this is, I'm going to call this our little trap zone.
Well, US Swiss looks like it might be coming to the downside after all, but to me it wasn't a high enough probability trade to take. So
no, we're trying to only stick with those high probability ones. Basically, there's a little bit of a trap right here. That's where that red zone was on the chart, and you see it's right here where the yesterday's high was. So, and you can pretty much expect this thing to just keep going back and forth. So yeah, this isn't really much of a, I mean, there is a wedge here. If you look at your trend line in, you can actually start all the way down here and connect with that one. You can see that's going to be in the box, and you have this trend line. This one's pretty much just, I'm just going to call this one a flat line up here. And I'll just put that a little bit up at the top. Here's the trend line coming down. It hasn't really confirmed which way it's going to go, but I want to see a stronger pullback off of a stronger bounce off of something up here to drive it back down to this. Once we get another hit off of this line, then you could possibly maybe, if you wanted to try and scalp something, you could maybe try and scalp something there. But you're not looking at a bag or arrow entry. You're just looking more of a trend line, trying to connect with a trend. But you would have a trap. I would consider this to be a trap down here. If you get, it would have to get through wherever this thing breaks. So right now the price is right about here. If it were to come down, I would be looking at this as being a trap area. You'll come down, break the trend line, make everybody think it's going short, come back in, and then zoop up the other way. If it does break, then your next target would be down in this area. You see all these nice little strong candles coming up. Then I'd be looking at a target zone of being this area right in here. This would be the target. If it does break to the bottom, to the downside, this would be the target.
Someone mentioned about the 15-minute Bitcoin. She's going to the moon. I see it in a very, I see it's going to break whatever's going on here, because it just broke out of the wedge that was the last day and a half. There was a consolidation zone, and it just broke out of there to the upside. So now if it breaks the next little resistance, you could have a higher high, and you could potentially see $50,000.
Do we have something with the U.S. yen? Tell me no.
U.S. yen.
It's tanking right now. What time was that news? You said in a few minutes, was it?
Yeah.
U.S. yen is tanking. Why is it tanking?
Interesting. But tell you what, Al, look at that. Look at your Kiwi US, bro.
Yeah, that one's looking. Well, Kiwi US. Yeah, this was the one from yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That was when we got in yesterday, and our Kiwi yen is working out nicely. I think that probably broke through the top.
Yeah, and Bitcoin's going right to the moon. You'll probably be hitting 48,000 in the next little bit, but it just went up $1,000 in the last minute.
Well,
here we go.
But here's a nice. This is a nice little move on the U.S. yen. Right now, there's no trade on this yet, but just keep in mind that I'm gonna get my vertical line for my retracement or my contra trend trade bars here. I'd like to. Whoops, wrong one. Object list, and then my trade bars. This is my 1500 bar. I want to get that in, get that all onto the 11th.
Remember, guys, if you're trading in an uptrend, what you want to be doing is buying the pullbacks, right? Don't try and enter on the tops. Wait till it retraces a little bit, put your Fibbo on it, and then look for a Fibbo retracement that fits your liking.
We are at 8 o'clock, so we are coming into the reversal pattern time. So, or the contra trend, I should say. Even so, like with this U.S. yen, they said there was a strong move down. I was looking at it on a 1 minute chart and just like, wow, this thing's really going down, and it did.
Yeah.
But it's still somewhat. Let's see what the range on this between these zones are. We only have 15 pips in between the ranges. Remember, if we're going to be if we had equal zones, remember we want 50 pips in between those zones. And I'm not sure we have equal zones even, but it does have more of a downtrend. But even so, you still want to make sure you have lots of room. This isn't a downtrend. I'll be marking it right there. And I'm going to zoom in on it. We did have a bounce arrow, but it's no go because it's in the wrong direction. Now, if we get a bounce off of this, again, if we get an arrow now, it'll still be a no go because you don't have the 20 pips to the zone. So not much on this one right now.
I haven't personally had a lot of success when the zones are equal. Just an observation. I haven't had a lot of success in these trades when the zones are equal.
There again, I guess then you probably need to go to the strength and the technical analysis of what pair is stronger at the time. And then maybe not go for quite the full 20 pips, maybe try and pull out 10 pips or something like that. But there again, that's going off a little bit of the strategies. What I've just said was a little bit off the strategies of what the developer uses as far as trading the system. And things you want to try and stay as close to the strategies that have been approved and been tested. It's always easy to go off and say, well, this worked before and it may work again, but you also have to remember that sometimes when it works before, it's just because you got lucky and then you think that there's a system to it. And there really isn't. And so that's why the strategies that have been approved have been ones that have been, they've taken hundreds of trades and they've collected hundreds of trade data to find out what the ranges are, what it works within the parameters of, and try and keep the parameters somewhat close to the same, saying, again, we use a basic 20 pip target, 40 pip stop on our entries for the day type trading off the 50-minute bag entries. And if you're looking at higher time frames, you get more risk, but you also get more of a target out of it. So yeah, it looks like this one is New Zealand USD. Let's take a look at that. This is one we took yesterday. At least I took yesterday. I'm not sure if it was in this session or not. I know I took it sometime yesterday. And it's starting to come right up to our zone here. We got in somewhere over in here. This was, when did we get in this thing? Let's see if I can see that. I got in this is on yesterday at the 17, about 10 o'clock yesterday.
Actually, in the chat, somebody just said that the New Zealand yen broke the zone.
Yeah, there's another zone underneath it. There was another zone about 2 pips underneath it.
That was our New Zealand. That was the one that we took earlier this morning. It broke out. And we saw that looks like we had the strength. That's where that little strength meter that we have here helped us out on that one. What did I do with it?
Oh, sorry. My bad. I've got the wrong currency pair open.
Need to get my strength meter back up again.
I had the other Kiwi pair.
Oh, here it is. It was hiding. You have too many windows open.
Oh, yeah, there it goes. Look at that thing. That was a great call, Al.
Yeah. Make up some of the, maybe we'll have a winning day today. But here's our strength meter that we have. And we're going to be we're going to see you can see where the New Zealand dollar is still strong on all 4 time frames, along with the Aussie. And the dollar's weak, the yen's weak. So basically, again, Aussie, New Zealand versus yen and US would be my first choices. Trading to the strength of the Aussie and the New Zealand.
So on BTC, guys, we're about to hit the. There's 2 zones on the 5-minute before it gets to 48,000. So you could expect a retracement somewhere in between these 2 zones, a little pullback. But
Maybe you can share your screen so people can see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you share that? Because I don't have that on my charts.
No worries.
I'll stop. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, let me, I'm ready.
You ready? Okay, I'll stop sharing.
Here. So, we got some fun going on, guys. We got, so let me bring it in just a little bit more. So you got this red zone. This red zone was formed by the previous rally, the highest it's ever been, and it's been there a couple times. You see, it's been there here, it's been there here, and now it has to break here. I believe, I'm just believing that it's going to hit this area for other reasons. And now if it breaks this, then it could go right to the moon. It could go to 50,000 if it breaks that area. But before I would enter, I would look for a pullback, a retracement of some type of form, because probably what's going to happen is you're going to have a wedge form here at the lower time frame, and then it would look to break out. I can show you on TradingView because I prefer that platform. But let me.
Also, when you get into values such as 47,700, you're looking at usually 47,750, and then the next one would be 40.
Yeah, you're looking at those round numbers.
Those round numbers from 47,500. You're probably looking at the next $250 move being you're looking at the 48s, 49s, and the 50s. So 50 is going to be 50 right now. The target is going to be on the eyes of 50. Just like the stock market does the same thing, where it looks like, well, it's going to break 10,000, or it's going to break, or the Dow is going to break 30,000, or something like that. It starts looking at those whole numbers for target areas.
So this is the wedge breakout, and from a wedge perspective, I see it going to at least here before it consolidates. So 48,000. You see how we got the wedge. We drew the stick from the origination of the wedge to here. You could actually do a different stick. This is a lower probability one. So you'd go from the original hit to about here where the trend lines intersect. And this would be TP2 from the break. So TP2 would be 48,200. So that's the two zones that I see. Now, reality is this. Reality is that if you put a Fibbo, just go from here. It'll be approximate. So now you could have a retracement anywhere from 23.6 to 38.2 before it continues and blasts through the 8,400. This is the highest it's ever been, right? 48,200.
48. Yeah, I think 48 was the highest. That was earlier this week.
Yeah. So here, if for any reason she breaks this, I'm in there like no one's business. So that's my.
Did we look at that U.S. Swiss alert? I mean, look at that while.
Yeah, go ahead, Al.
Did we? Oh, that's one we. Yeah.
Here, I'll stop sharing.
No,
I need
to. No, you're good. We're on a. There was nothing there.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think I remember checking that one, and the zones were too close.
One. Yeah. Let me just go back and check some of these others just to make sure they're still valid.
TP2 is about to be hit.
48,
for anyone that got in on Bitcoin, well done.
Right now, they say the year target for Bitcoin is 300,000.
Boom. That just smoked it. That's crazy. Now I would anticipate some kind of pullback. I don't trade a lot of Bitcoin, so.
I own it. I use it for funding my accounts, but I don't really. I'm doing some holding of it just right now, but what I like to do is so much with the accounts, though. Many of these brokers that we use want you to fund your accounts via Bitcoin, and so what I'll do is I'll buy the Bitcoin, wait for it to go up a little bit, make a little bit of profit on it, covers the exchange fees, and then make the transfer. That way, I feel like I don't lose any money on my transfer when I fund my accounts.
Bingo.
Let's see.
I'm going to look for a pullback before I would enter.
But I would not be surprised to see 50,000 by the end of the week, or even by over the weekend, possibly.
Huh? Really?
That's only $2,000 away.
Yeah, that's true. Since it moved like 10 grand in 24 hours the other day.
Exactly. No, it's not for the faint of heart. It's a very volatile.
Whew, you got to know what you're doing.
I would not be trying to chase it. I'd wait for it to make a new high, pull back about 10 or 15%, and then jump back in again. But I want at least, I like seeing at least a 10%. When I see a 10% pullback on it, then I start thinking about maybe doing a little bit of an exchange or funding some accounts or things like that.
Right.
I'll buy it, and then just wait until it goes back up and covers my spreads and my. Generally, what I'm finding out is that for those of you who aren't real familiar with the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies, generally you have to buy them through an exchange, and usually it's just like if you go to Europe and you transfer your dollars into euros, they usually charge you about 1.5%, and it's about the same thing to exchange dollars into Bitcoins or Ethereum or Litecoin. Usually about 1.5% is usually what the exchange fees are. But the nice thing about the Bitcoins is that when you actually go to make the transfer to your account from Bitcoin to Bitcoin or to Ethereum or whatever you're using, the transfer fees are usually a couple dollars. So very, very small for the actual blockchain fees.
Yeah, they're tiny.
As opposed to if you do a wire transfer, you're usually paying $25 to $50 for a wire transfer, depending on what kind of a transfer it is.
So Al, I'm gonna have to step away for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop sharing.
All right,
I can tell you we hit our take profit on the QE trade from yesterday.
Yep. So I just got it. They made my target on that one, and we're in good shape on the New Zealand yen that we took earlier. Let me share my screen here. So we're in good shape so far today. Things are looking better than it was yesterday. We had nothing yesterday.
Yeah, and our systems were all screwed up.
Yeah, and we had some system problems yesterday.
That was frustrating. Yeah, I'll be back in about 5 to 10. I just need to go check on the kids.
Okay. All right, we got it.
All right, great. Thanks.
And any other questions while we're waiting around here?
Q&A is empty.
Okay. We have a lot of smart people that know all the answers here, so we're good. Either that or we're doing a bang up job explaining things. Until then, we just wait. Let's see. And remember, it's the best we could. If you, it's helpful too if you put your questions or comments or into the question answer box, because we will sometimes we catch them in the chat box, but not all the time. And a lot of times the chats move so fast that it's hard to keep on top of them. Yeah, that New Zealand yen, that could be a good long-term play. I generally just go for my 20 pips, and I'm happy with that. But you can see this had a nice little breakout. This is one we're in right now. We had the arrow. We didn't really get in at the arrow. We had that zone we had to get through. So that's why we didn't take it right at the arrow, or else we would have taken a little bit sooner. But we did get in right about here where the green dashed line is. Again, the target, I think a good target zone is going to be, this is a 50 pip target is, well, let's see where we at here. Where I actually got in.
Minutes.
To the top here. That's basically, we have 30 pips for a day trade. This is the 30 pip target is good. Here's our 20 pips right about in here. If it comes up into this 75 to 96 area, that's probably where my target's going to be.
Now, Al, Sheila has a question on this pair. Should we move up the stop loss to a break even?
I find that that's really personal preference. I find out that if I move my stop, oftentimes what will happen is it'll pull, if I move my stop up to break even, and this thing decides that it doesn't quite hit the target and comes back to retest this, what all it does is it stops you out, and you say, oh crap, I could have had it up here, I should have taken my profit. What I would usually do is I find out if I just keep my stop where it was, I may move it up maybe a little. If it builds another zone, I may be more up. Then I may move it to the bottom. So if let's say it builds another zone. Let's see, where's my little insert shapes? If let's say it builds another zone right in here, then I might be inclined to move my stop, knowing that I have that zone as a barrier. But until then, I really be hesitant about moving it, because if it comes back in, it may be just close enough to where the spreads will take you out and then move up to where your target is. I'd be more apt to say, if I were to do that, I would probably take half my position off and then let the other part run and then move it to break even, but making sure I lock in some profits. But generally I find out I just leave my stop where it is, and I either take my profits early, or I find out just moving the stops oftentimes doesn't really, in the long run, doesn't usually work. If it's a good trade, it should hit. If you have a reasonable target, conservative target, your stop should, your target should be good without moving your stop, because oftentimes it just needs that wiggle room to breathe. I never did put my stop and target. The guy got so busy. Let's see, we got 75, so I'm gonna look at 76.05, I guess. 76. That's right about there. I'm going to move this thing down. I'm not going to get greedy on this one. I'm just going to move it down, just right about where I might just move it down just a little bit less than that. I'm okay with that, because here's what I'm looking at this strong move down like this. It comes back down and retests it. So there's some sellers right up in here, and I don't want to just get up here and have it just not quite get through that. Remember, you have to get your spread out. In order to get my target where that red dash line is, the price actually has to go through the spreads value in order to get that fill. And if you'll see it come up, it starts pumping up, banging up against that, banging up against. If it does that, I just take it. I just come over here, click that little X, and just take it out and be done with it. Yeah. Don't give up a 20 pip move because you're trying to get that spread paid for. Yes, Christine.
Yes. Christopher wanted your opinion on brokers. Seeing we were just talking about spreads and
yeah. There's several brokers that we endorse, but we can't mention it in the room. I would say get with your your team or the people that got you that signed you up, or the team that you're with, and you can have that discussion. I can't have that discussion in this room. If you would like to email me at hawkeye@auvoriaprime.com, I can maybe do that as on a private type conversation with you.
And Joseph says the red folder news is out.
Oh, okay.
It's keeping us on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. And let's just take a look at this trade. So we're kind of following this trade along. We're on a, let's see, I'm on an hour chart. Let's go to 15 minutes, see if any zones are in our way here. Nope, nothing there. How about a 5 minute? Is anything in there? You see we have a little bit of a zone right here on the 5 minute chart. And these are the things that you'll see. You'll get these little, and this is probably going to be a little bit of a bounce point here. And you want it to breathe. You don't want to be in too big of a hurry to take your profits. But let's see, 75, so 80, yeah, 95 would be the take profit. And we're at 85, so I'm still 10 pips away from my target. But I'll keep an eye on this thing, and I'm not going to let it, if it starts to retrace, then I'll get out and maybe wait for another entry to it. But right now, there's no reason to be getting out. The New Zealand dollar is still strong to the yen, although the yen is starting to gain a little bit of strength overall, but nothing to get alarmed about. Here again, I will show you this chart here. You can see where the Aussie and yen are still strong. The dollar has gained a little bit against the yen. The yen's gained a little bit against the dollar over here on the, as you see on the lower time frame, you'll start seeing where, if it starts to weaken, you'll start seeing on the lower time frame. And you'll start seeing the yen getting stronger. You'll start seeing the Aussie getting a little bit weaker. Aussie was strong up here. Now it's getting a little bit weaker. And you can just sort of start seeing how these things start shifting in the lower time frame. That gives you a little bit of a heads up that it may be, but the higher time frames are still pretty much in control, but you'll start seeing pullbacks. If you start seeing where this, like the New Zealand and the yen flip on the lower time frame, that could just be a stronger pullback that you'd be looking at as opposed to a trend reversal. And let's see what else we have. US, no other new alerts here. Any other questions while we have some time here?
Ronald had asked, where he could get that RCS. Is it an indicator?
Yeah, we're
the strategies.
It is. We had discussions with Auvoria Prime a couple months back about making it available. That's when we were doing the Iris trade rooms, and we were using TradingView almost exclusively. Since we went to Arrow, we sort of this talks just sort of got dropped. But I'm going to reinstate the talks again and see if we can make it available for those of you who are using TradingView. We don't have it available, to my knowledge. I don't think it's available for MT4 platform, but it is available. We do have it on TradingView that we'll see if we can make it available in some fashion for everybody. It is a really good tool for trying to determine whether or not if a trade is somewhat, this trade today was a good example of how that tool really helped us out, because we had a zone, we had a lot of strength, and the odds of it breaking through that were pretty high. And so we're able to take the trade based on the overall strength of the currency at that point.
And
it doesn't always work, but it does work quite often.
On that unemployment news, it was the claims were worse than expected, which was expected was 755,000. The actual was 793,000. For anyone that's interested.
Yeah. Well, I knew it wasn't going to be a good one. Let's see, let me get this zone off of here. And we're going to look and see where Just remember, if you put rectangles on your charts, remember the ones that say PT, PWT, those are the ones that are from the developer put those on. And the other one, like the one here that just has a rectangle and then number, that's the one that I put on there, and that's the one you can want to delete. Right now, everything's looking good for this trade. So far, so good today. And let's see, anything else we could look at here while we're waiting. Let me check and see some other alert systems that I have here, see if we can find something. US yen at, this is on a different system that I have. No, I don't, nothing there I'm seeing that's worth looking at. Let's take a look and see what the US, there was the US yen. We had that US yen I saw that was just tanking over here earlier. We'll come over here to the 15-minute chart. And we have, you can see we have a little bit of a wedge right in here. Again, I usually like to start with see what the overnight high and low is and draw a box. That's basically the range from the new day, which is over here at these day breaks. So this was the overnight range. And we're going to come up to, we'll see where that right now, see, like right now, if we were to try and take a trade here, which way do you go? Do you go short or do you go long? Right now, you're right in the middle of where of the whole range. Now we do have a little bit of a wedge. Here's a top, here's a little lower high, here's a high, here's a low, lower high, higher low. So we'll draw our wedge from here to the high, to the low.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, guys.
Okay. And so right now, this is the wedge that we're looking at. If it were to break the top of this wedge, you're going to be looking at a yesterday's high. So basically, if you draw another little box from yesterday's high, the day before's high, this would be your potential. This could be your trap. And of course, if you're expecting this to break, you say, "Oh, there's nothing up here." Well, you look over to the left and you say, "Oh, there. This is where that's as high as it went the other day." Right now, you're actually inside a range. We're going to call this a supply zone. And then you look at the bottom where the range. So basically, today, right now, it'd be like an inside candle from yesterday's range. So if you were to try to, if you had a breakout of the white box, and someone keep an eye on that alert box because I can't see it when I have this chart up here like this. There we go. So right now, right now it's going sideways. If it comes up here, could be a trap, or but it's going to have to break through all these wicks. I like trying to draw where I have just the wicks up here. This would be a trap area. It comes up, gets in here, and then turns right around, or it comes down. Oh no! Don't tell me.
Yeah, mine just dropped.
Okay, don't do this to me. Connect.
Oh, just a heads up, guys. So Bitcoin retraced to 38.2, so I'm in that trade. And my stop loss is on the other side of that trend line that I drew, so it would be just underneath the 46.35 for.
Well, I guess the good news is if we lost our charts, we still have, I saw my trading view charts too. Yeah,
Right.
we lost the remote desktop is not just shut down.
Yeah, I was wondering why mine went down.
No, it seems like this is across the board.
Give me a sec.
Well, try
Yeah.
one more time.
Several people are saying that, Al.
Everybody's doing it?
Yeah, several
everybody?
people, yeah.
All right.
Ronald, Parish, Shiva, yeah.
Okay, well,
There's
I
8
guess,
so far.
okay, well, yeah, you're in good company. Tell you what we're going to do is I'm going to switch screens here. I don't know. I can see it when it comes back on again. Let me go back and I'll switch screens and we'll continue with what we're talking about. And let me know when it comes back on. I may see it come on, but let's go to this one here. Now, everybody see my trading view screen?
Yep.
Okay, so this is basically, we're just doing an analysis of the US yen. We did see a really strong drop of it, but basically what we're looking at is it's in a sideways range. We're right in the middle of today's range. There's really no trade here. If it breaks to the upside, we have to be very careful that we have this zone right up here where these wicks are from yesterday. And if it breaks to the downside, you have to be very careful that I usually like taking to the lowest wick. Now this one came very close to breaking that, but this is, if it comes into here, you're going to find some buyers because see the strong move to the upside. It's like a rocket ship. It's like in 45 minutes, it went from here all the way up there in 45 minutes. It took off, didn't even stop and go. Here's where the sellers came in, drove it back down. If you look in from a Fibonacci standpoint, a little bit of Fibonacci lesson here. You'll go from here to here, and it pulled back to this one. And you can see it pulled back about 50. Okay, I do mine a little bit differently, but right now it pulled back between 61.8 and 79%. That's a strong pullback, and then it just started basing. Oftentimes you'll see it comes back up and retest the zero line, which is pretty much what it's doing right now. Which is where. So right now this is going to be a strong area. So if it breaks to the upside, I would not expect it to get through this on the first time because you have this wick right here. It was rejected, and right now it's been from an area. Let me do this. Take this one off, and let me take this one off here. Try and keep things a little bit cleaner. And so right now here's a strong move up. This is where it was, you actually has some rejection right up in here. Strong move up, pulled back, and here's like a 3-wave pullback. And now if I draw my fib line, let's just draw it this way. Here's the range. I always look for the longest range and I look for the pullbacks. And right now it's pulled back to the 61.8. And so there's a good chance, and here's your M. Here's your first leg of the M. Here's the middle of the M. And you could probably look and see where it would be. Let's see, where's my other tool here? There it is. This is where you start getting into, here's your M right in here. Here's the first part of the M. Here's the second part of the M. Can you see the M? It could come back down and retest this, or this could be the middle of the M. And this could be a new area where it's going to be coming up to retest. And then it come back down to theirs. But right now, I'm not seeing it breaking out of this range at all. And you're in the middle. So up here, I maybe look taking it short. Down here, maybe look taking it long down there. But this is what I'd be looking at with this area. Just a little technical analysis for you. No charts yet, huh?
No, and I've been checking with other people, and it seems like it all crashed.
Okay.
Not
Mine
happy.
hasn't either. Mine hasn't. Judson says his hasn't. I still have.
You
Oh,
should
yours
have
is still working?
Yeah, seems to be.
Oh, let's have you. Maybe you should share your screen then. You want to share your charts, Eva?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
I'll stop sharing.
Where are you?
Why would that be?
I don't know.
Must be because you have a Mac.
I forget. I keep telling you.
I don't know.
He's trying to convert.
I had to give you that one, Eva. I had to give you that.
Yeah, thank you. Every now and again, I get one. Okay, so what were we looking at? I'm sorry, I had left my.
We're just looking for alerts. Actually, there's a British US. I didn't see that one yet. Let's take a look at the British US.
Yeah, and the British Kiwi.
All
The
righty.
British Kiwi.
Okay, so this is the British Kiwi or the British US?
Look at the British
both,
US
I
first. Go with the British. Yeah. Go British Kiwi. British Kiwi sounds like it looks like it might have more potential.
Okay,
If we do, it should be to the short side.
I just have to resize my screen here a little bit because the bar is in the way of me doing anything.
And we only have about another
That looks good.
10,
If that looks all right.
10 minutes.
Yep.
Yep, that looks good.
Okay, so we want the British Kiwi.
Yeah, let's take a look at that one. And that should be strength to the Kiwi side.
Oh,
So it should be strength to the downside.
okay.
Yep, there it is.
Actually,
And
no,
it was right as this could almost be. Matt, did you have any discussion with Nate about this bank induction thing?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. So I'm not.
But we are in the. What's our overall trend on this one, Eva?
It's up. The overall is up.
Okay, so this could be and we are in the contra trend zone. So,
Yes.
but this could be a bank induction type of thing. If what I understood it to be, where you got a strong arrow down into the zone, and I'd be looking for a. I would be looking for a. You don't necessarily need to get an arrow, but is there 20 pips from the green zone to the blue line? I'm just kind of wondering about that.
To the blue line.
Yeah, to the moving average. 37 pips. Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to trade against the Kiwi right now.
No, and with this zone in the way.
Yeah, I would be looking for, this would be a good one for a bounce arrow go if it gets the bounce and to get the arrow. Because you're in an uptrend, it's coming into the green zone, and I'd be looking for that bounce off of that zone to take you up higher to the red zone. That could be a nice little trade. The overall, what's the range of that zone there? Between roughly 91.90 and 91. That's 100 pips.
It's not bad.
Between the green and the red zone. This could be a nice little trade.
Yeah,
Yep, that's 100 pips for that.
96.
Yeah, so I would be looking at a, but I want to make sure that the energy, the down energy of that New Zealand being stronger, I'd want to see that start turning around a little bit. And you would probably get a little bit of a bounce and maybe get another little retest of that green zone, and then go up higher. So this is going to be one to keep your eye on.
Yeah, this is pretty high up here too still, so this might wipe out this zone, but there's another zone right directly underneath it. So
yeah, and a lot of times you get these levels on level. You get two zones right on top. The first one may give it up, and then it can't break through that second one below it. So you don't want to be trying to catch a falling knife on this. You want to wait for it to start losing this downward momentum and start looking to change around, to curl around. And you'll probably get a little bounce, then a retest of that green zone, and then before it goes up higher.
Yeah.
How about the British New
What?
Zealand? How about the British USD? What's that one look like?
I'll give yours a try again.
Is it up?
We've only got a couple.
I think so.
Guys.
Yeah, let's just let Eva finish up here. We have another 5 minutes. We'll be getting out of here, getting ready for the 9 o'clock session for.
So that's hugely strong to the upside.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a bounce. You have an arrow. And do we have 15 pips?
I mean, you can
Yeah.
follow the rules, but I mean, you can get in there for even a 10 move if you're interested.
You can maybe take that one. It's a little you'd have to be a little bit less aggressive with it. And where it is now, where's your 40 pip stop volume? It should be, if it's on the other side of the green zones.
Oh, it'll be.
Yeah, you got lots of room to the downside. You got two zones below it. It just
right to the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, and actually that you can see that's actually forming a little bit of a wedge. How about going to the 5 minute on this one? Nice little wedge, strong move up. This is almost like a perfect flag entry. So,
yeah.
Yep. And if it could break that little trend line, it could be. I want to see the strength. Let's see, where is this at? British US. British US. British is stronger on the lower time frames to the dollar. You'd be looking to the strength to the upside. Yeah, you could probably take this one. But you may not get the full 10 pips on this or 20 pips on this one.
Yeah. Just
actually kind of like this one.
Keep in mind that the zone is right here. Actually, can you see the price when I do that?
British US. Let me see what this one looks like.
1.3859. So it's, the next zone is 19 pips away. Actually, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
To get in kind of like now.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna keep an eye on it.
Maybe just put your take profit to, I don't know. Would you put the full 20 pips or would you put like?
Well, I'll start with 20 pips, and I may look at it a little bit tighter and see if I want to cut that a little bit short. But right now, I'll just go with 20 pips. And you just go with a 40 pip stop, 20 pip target, and see where it takes me.
Actually, you know what? I might even. Are we allowed to do this on air?
I don't see why not. I mean,
what? Take a trade or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I actually take the trade with people?
Yeah. I take trades live.
Okay.
I think that's what we're supposed to do.
All right.
Generally.
I
just took it.
Specific numbers.
Yeah.
And I took it.
Oh, hey.
Who's that? Oh, Brian.
Yeah, no school today. Got canceled due to ice.
Ice.
Nice.
Oh man, you guys are soft.
Yeah, no kidding.
You ain't kidding. I was ready to roll, and I'm thinking, are you kidding me? I got to roll right on back. We have a little ice.
Well, it's nice to hear your voice there, Brian.
What was that?
Nice to hear your voice. You sound a little bit more chipper today than you were last night when I talked to you.
Yeah, I was tired yesterday after that. I had a little bout of reflux, but all's good.
Good.
So,
hey, so the next call starting at 9. Possible to have you in there too, Brian, or what? Because Coach Mo is having.
Yeah, I'm here all day. I'm here all day.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Here we are, guys. Trades on.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Yeah, I'm here all day long.
Any other questions from anybody in the audience or our attendees here?
You got a message that just popped in. Yeah, in the South, we are all storming Kroger for milk, eggs, and bread. Exactly, redneck. We'll slide on through. We'll go out there in the ice and make sure we have our coffee and our milk, eggs, and bread. But we can't go to school or work. It's a fantastic gift here in the South. You got kids out there in their trash cans sliding down the street. I mean, they're so excited about a quarter of inch of ice. It's hilarious.
At least they let him play.
Bring him up here for a couple of seasons. See how they like it then. How do you like this now?
Yeah. John says, how about gold? Is it retracing or still going up? I didn't look at gold. I do know cryptos are taking off again today.
Yep. Everybody's making money who has cryptos.
Do you have a view of gold on your chart? I'm on mute.
Gold's in a tight range between 1853 and 1835. It's basically in about a 20 pip range. Is right in the middle. I'm staying away from that.
A lot of uncertainty right now.
Yeah, it's I said currencies and indexes. I'm not a big fan of right at the moment.
Yeah, they're too wild at the moment. They're crazy. Yeah. Look at this thing. It's just been going on.
There's no range. There's no range there, and
this is on the 30-minute yet.
Yeah, I said right now it's right in the middle of yesterday's high and low, and so I would say there's unless if it goes up to 1854, you may look and maybe try and take it short if it starts showing you some loss of momentum. Or try and buy down around the 1834 area. But right now, I would not be doing anything with it.
Yeah.
And on that note, we have about 3 more minutes, so it gives us time to get over into the other room. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming in. I appreciate all your participation. And we will see you maybe over here at the 9 o'clock session with Dante. Or I guess it's probably going to be Matt. I guess Matt's going to be running that one today.
Actually, it's I got Coach Mo that's going to run it up, I think.
Oh, Mo's going to run it? Okay.
Where is that located at? Oh, I see it. I found it.
Okay.
You got it. Cool.
So can you go to 888?
What was that again?
If Al can bounce to 888.
Yeah, I can stop at 888. I'm going to go to 888 for a little bit, and then I'll meet you guys over in the Dante's room.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
And everybody, have
All right.
a great
Thanks,
day.
everybody. Have a good day.
All right.
Bye. God bless.
Bye.